Ghosting. Let's start with the dreaded ghosting, the ultimate online dating horror story. You've been chatting, maybe even met for coffee, and then poof. Silence. No explanation, no closure, just radio silence. You're left wondering, what did I do? What happened? Why it happens, fear of confrontation. Some people simply can't muster the courage to have a difficult conversation. They might be afraid of hurting your feelings, or they might be afraid of being rejected themselves. So they choose to disappear, hoping the pain will fade away with time. Lack of interest, they might not feel a spark but are too uncomfortable to tell you directly. Perhaps they're afraid of coming across as rude or judgmental, so they choose to ghost you instead. Overwhelmed, the sheer volume of matches can be overwhelming, and they might simply lose track of your conversation. They might be juggling multiple conversations, and your messages get lost in the shuffle. Playing the field, some people use ghosting as a strategy to keep their options open. They might be talking to multiple people, and they're not ready to commit to anyone just yet. They're afraid of getting tied down, so they ghost you to keep their options open. How to deal with it? Don't take it personally. Remember, ghosting is often a reflection of the ghoster's insecurities, not your worth. Don't let their cowardice define your self-worth. Move on. There are plenty of other fish in the sea or, in this case, on the app. Don't waste your time dwelling on someone who wasn't interested in the first place. Focus your energy on finding someone who truly appreciates you. Find closure. If you're feeling hurt, it can be helpful to talk to a friend, family member, or therapist about your experience. Sharing your feelings can help you process them and move on. Block them. If the ghoster keeps reappearing in your life, don't hesitate to block them. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is a more subtle form of ghosting, where someone throws out just enough communication to keep you interested but never commits to a real connection. Think of it like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, just enough to keep you following them but never actually leading to anything. Why it happens? Ego boost. They might enjoy the attention without wanting any real commitment. They like knowing they're desirable and have a backup option. Keeping options open, they're not ready to choose anyone, so they string you along. They might be hoping for someone better to come along, or they might simply be afraid of getting hurt. Fear of rejection. They might be afraid of getting hurt, so they keep you at arm's length. They don't want to risk getting their feelings hurt, so they avoid getting too close. Playing games. Some people enjoy the thrill of the chase, and breadcrumbing is a way to keep you hooked. They might be deliberately playing hard to make you work harder for their attention. How to deal with it? Call them out. Ask directly if they're interested in actually getting to know you. Don't be afraid to be direct and honest about your feelings. Cut them off. If they continue to breadcrumb, it's time to move on to someone who is genuinely interested. Don't waste your time with someone who isn't willing to commit. Don't overthink it. Don't try to analyze their every move. Remember, breadcrumbing is a pattern of behavior, not a one-time mistake. Love bombing. Love bombing is the complete opposite of ghosting. It's an intense, almost suffocating level of attention and affection from the very beginning. It can feel flattering, even exhilarating, but beware, it's often a red flag for manipulative behavior. Why it happens? Control. They're trying to quickly establish power and control over you. Insecurity. They might have a deep-seated need for validation and attention. Hiding red flags. They're using the love bombing to distract you from their true intentions. How to deal with it? Be cautious. Don't let the initial intensity blind you to red flags. Set boundaries. Let them know you need space and time to get to know them. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Cushioning. Cushioning is the act of keeping multiple dating options open just in case one doesn't work out. Think of it like having backup plans in your dating life. Why it happens? Minimizing risk. It's a way to avoid the heartbreak of getting rejected. Fear of missing out? They don't want to miss out on a potentially better connection. Hedging baits. They're trying to increase their chances of finding someone special. How to deal with it? Be upfront. Talk to them about your expectations for exclusivity. Don't be afraid to walk away. If they're not willing to commit, it's okay to move on. Benching. Benching is similar to breadcrumbing, but with even less effort. It's like when you put someone on the maybe pile, but you're not quite ready to let them go. Why it happens? Fear of commitment. They're not ready for a relationship, but they also don't want to lose you entirely. Keeping options open. They're holding on to you while they see what other options emerge. Convenience. They like having someone to chat with when they're bored. How to deal with it? Don't waste your time. If they're not putting in the effort, it's time to move on. Reevaluate your priorities. Are you really okay with being someone's backup plan? Catfishing. Catfishing is the act of creating a fake online persona to deceive someone into a relationship. These catfishers often use stolen photos and fabricated stories to create an illusion of perfection. Why it happens? Control and manipulation. They're trying to gain power and control over their victim, loneliness and insecurity. They might feel inadequate in real life and use catfishing to create a sense of validation. Financial gain. Some catfishers use their personas to scam people out of money. How to deal with it? Be cautious. Don't be afraid to ask questions and verify information. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Report them. If you suspect someone is catfishing you, report them to the app. Haunting. Haunting happens when someone you've previously ghosted or blocked suddenly reappears in your online dating life. They might send you a message, like your post, or even try to re-add you. Why it happens? Boredom. They might be bored or lonely and looking for attention. Regret. They might realize they made a mistake by ghosting you. Need for validation. They might be trying to prove they're still desirable. How to deal with it? Ignore them. The best way to deal with a ghost is to simply ignore them. Block them. If they persist, block them from all platforms. Don't give them the satisfaction. Don't waste your energy on someone who isn't worth it. Orbiting. Orbiting is a more passive form of haunting. It's when someone you've previously ghosted or blocked continues to follow you on social media but never actually interacts with you. They're like a ghost that lingers in your digital orbit. Why it happens? Curiosity. They might be curious about your life but too afraid to reach out. Ego boost. They might enjoy knowing they're still in your radar. Second chance. They might be holding out hope for a second chance but not willing to actually commit. How to deal with it? Unfollow. If they're not actually interacting with you, there's no reason to keep them in your social media feed. Block. If they continue to orbit, it's time to take drastic measures. Swipe right culture. The swipe right culture has transformed how we approach dating, making it more casual and faster than ever before. But with this comes a certain lack of depth and a tendency to judge based on superficial factors. Why it exists? Accessibility. Apps like Tinder and Bumble have made dating incredibly accessible and convenient. You can meet new people with just a few swipes without having to go through the traditional dating process. Instant gratification, we're used to getting what we want with a few clicks, and dating has become no exception. We want instant results and immediate satisfaction, which can lead to superficial judgment. Fear of rejection, swiping right feels less risky than actually reaching out to someone. It's easier to swipe right than to type a message and risk getting rejected. How to deal with it? Don't be afraid to be selective. Take your time, read profiles carefully, and don't swipe right just for the sake of it. Don't just focus on the photos, look at their interests, values, and goals. Prioritize quality over quantity. Focus on finding someone who genuinely connects with you, not just on getting a lot of matches. Don't just chase numbers, chase genuine connections.